Welcome to 755 Live, about 5 minutes of what Jesus said. I want to show off my new shirt. I want to talk about Jesus. So that's what we're going to be doing for about 5 minutes. You can find a different command of Jesus every weekday at our Bible plan at bible.today.church. Would encourage you to read the Bible along with us. Also, if this is meaningful and helpful to you, it would really help me out if you would share this, like it on social media. Your comments kind of help with the Facebook algorithm and all of that. We just want to make much of Jesus, and you can be a big part of that. Today's Jesus Said, a soundbite to kind of explain what Jesus was talking about or what he commanded. Today, Jesus said, "Deny yourself daily and follow me." A couple of passages today, Luke 9:23 through 25, and Matthew 10:38. In Luke 9, verse 23, then he said to them all, "If anyone wants to become my follower, he must deny himself, take up his cross daily, and follow me." This translation I really like because it says he must deny himself. Verse 24, for whoever wants to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will save it. For what does it benefit a person if he gains the whole world, but loses or forfeits himself or forfeits his soul? And then in Matthew 10:38, Jesus makes this even more poignant. He says, and whoever does not take up his cross and follow me is not worthy of me. Let that sink in for a minute. Take up his cross. Now, no one at that time, when Jesus was talking, understood that Jesus was going to be crucified. In fact, his 12 disciples who walked with him, lived with him, they didn't even understand that Jesus literally was going to take up his cross and be crucified. But it wasn't uncommon for a rabbi in the first century to tell his students something like, take up your cross. Because in the Hebrew alphabet, the last letter of the alphabet is the Tav. Aleph is the first, Tav is the last. And in the original script, the letter Tav was shaped like a cross. And that letter, Tav, in Hebrew means truth. And it was often used, the letter, to brand cattle and livestock to declare ownership. And to the first century listener, take up your cross, spoken by a rabbi, would have also brought to mind this subject of truth. Obeying the truth, obeying the teachings that the rabbi was giving, because that letter was known as that. Jesus said to become his followers, we must deny ourselves and take up his truth, his commands, his way of life. And I'm amazed at how those first 12 disciples did just that. I mean, after a first or second encounter with Jesus, they left everything behind and followed him. And it wasn't always just right after a miracle. And Jesus didn't use any catchy sales pitches or promise them a salary or anything like that. He just said, follow me. There was something about just being in the presence of Jesus that inspired those first disciples to leave behind their old life, deny themselves, and take up the truth and follow Jesus. Deny yourself doesn't make for a very good Facebook ad. We're trying to promote Easter right now. And it's a lot easier to promote Easter egg hunts than if, does anyone want to die daily? You want to deny yourself, take up your cross? That doesn't sound like a very good marketing campaign. But why did Jesus reach his disciples that way? And why did they do that? Why did they actually deny themselves? Well, they were in the presence of Jesus. We can't do what Jesus said through self-discipline. Those first disciples were so overwhelmed by his very presence that they were willing to give up everything. And a lot of times we think, well, how lucky were they, right? Well, actually, Jesus said that we're in a better place now because we have the presence and power of the Holy Spirit. And in Galatians 5:23, part of the Holy Spirit's fruit in our lives is self-control. That sounds a whole lot like denying ourselves. We have supernatural help through the power of the Holy Spirit to take up our cross, the truth of Jesus, deny ourselves, practice self-control, and follow him. But why don't we? Well, maybe we're not aware of his presence enough. Being in Jesus' presence changes us. Jesus said, deny ourselves, take up our cross daily, and follow him. How can we allow the Holy Spirit to work that way in our lives today?